It's no secret that the Smoky Mountains are one of the most haunted places in the entire world. Everything from Bigfoot to Dogman, feral people, and now even Mothman. For thousands of people across the planet, the Smoky Mountains is their second home. People travel literally from every corner of the United States and beyond. They come here to spend time in a place that offers magnificent sights unlike anything you'll ever see. Some of the most pristine land, animals, wildlife of all kinds everywhere. It's one of my most favorite places in the entire world. Probably is my favorite place. My family and I go there as often as possible. This story begins on Thanksgiving a little over 20 years ago, when a family just like I described, just like my own family, on a last minute decision decided they wanted to spend Thanksgiving in the Smoky Mountains. And this wasn't something that was really out of the ordinary for them. They went to the Smokies very often, and if you don't know, the Smoky Mountains, it's in East Tennessee and the western part of North Carolina. It's part of the Appalachian mountain range, which, as many of you already know, is one of the most haunted places in the entire world. But along with the beauty, along with the wildlife, comes all sorts of paranormal activity. Everything from ghosts to Bigfoot, you name it, it's out there. But that doesn't stop people from coming because it's amazing. So this family on a whim, who happened to live in North Carolina, decided they wanted to drive to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which was their favorite. A young mother, a young father, and the little girl, who was about 8 or 9 years old at the time. And she's actually the one who submitted this story to me. A little over a year ago, I read this story. I checked my email one morning, and by the time I was done, I had chills going down my back. As the family made their way to Pigeon Forge early this Thanksgiving morning, they ate at their favorite spots. They went to all the tourist attractions that they love. And if you've been to Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg, you know what I mean. It's overpriced, but it's absolutely worth the money. As the day faded away and evening approached, they knew they needed a place to sleep for the night. They didn't want to make the journey back home, which was about 3 hours or so. After checking their favorite place, their favorite hotel that they stayed in, it was booked up. There were no vacancies, and a lot of people go to the Smokies during the holidays. So at that point, it became a scramble. Pretty much, we'll take whatever we can find kind of situations. They're scouring the strip, driving up and down, looking, because this was before smartphones was really a thing, maybe on a small level. But they began searching, and after a little while, they did find a vacancy. It was in the Wares Valley community of the Smoky Mountains. And if you're not familiar with Wares Valley, it is absolutely pristine. It looks like something straight off of TV or a magazine. This place is immaculate. So they find a really nice cabin at an affordable price, vacant, which is odd in itself because everything in the area is almost full. But if you're 3-4 hours from home, you're not thinking about the little things. Why is this available? It shouldn't be, and especially at this price. They're in, they're sold, they book it, they roll up there. It was in the early evening, darkness had just settled in. Family tired after a fun day on the strip. They unloaded their car, got their suitcases, and made their way into this beautiful but old and creepy cabin. It seemed pretty typical, pretty normal, just like all the other cabins in the area. So the little girl, who is now an adult woman who submitted this story to me, said she was excited to go upstairs and check out the bedroom. And she even noted at a young age, even though she didn't really know what she was looking at, as she made her way up the stairs, she said there was things on the wall and on the doors that what she would later learn were kind of occult symbols, symbolisms, things associated with the occult. Being 8 years old, she didn't really know what she was looking at, but she knew something was off about it. At first, they were excited, but after a little bit of time of being there, you could just feel something in the air. And if you know, you know. And it got even creepier when she got up to the bedroom, which was said to sleep up to like 6 or 8 plus people. When they opened the door to go in, the beds were arranged like in a crescent shape. Something very odd. You know, most of the time beds are up against the wall or in a row where you have bunk beds. She said these beds were in a crescent shape like the moon, and they found that to be very strange and a little bit unsettling. It was Thanksgiving, you're in the Smoky Mountains, you're with your family, you're in a beautiful cabin, you got to make the best of it. So the mom and dad, they assured their daughter that everything was fine, it was just an old cabin. And to lighten the mood just a little bit, a little later the mom suggested that she and her daughter get in the huge jacuzzi tub that was in the ensuite of the master bedroom, which was located downstairs. And this was exactly what this little girl needed to hear, because what child doesn't like getting in a hot tub? As they settled down and began to get comfortable, the mother advised her daughter, go change into your swimsuit and we'll get in this jacuzzi tub and relax. The dad remained in the living room watching TV or doing something else, while the mom and the little girl, the young daughter, just had a good time. They're in the heaven, essentially, their favorite place on earth, in a jacuzzi hot tub, and just relaxing. All the worries fading away. They reflecting on the day they had in town, doing all the touristy things, the attractions. But after about 20 minutes of being in this tub, this little girl got a feeling that something was off. That something was outside the window. There was a window right next to this tub, but she felt like she was being watched. Out of nowhere, there was nothing said by the mother to indicate anything to be worried about, but she knew something was wrong. And she ignored it at first for a couple minutes until that feeling just got too strong, and she raised up to look out the window. And what she seen changed her life forever. So out this window, in the darkness, standing in the tree line, looking back at her, was a creature. It wasn't an animal. It wasn't any kind of owl, any kind of bird, any kind of deer, bear, or turkey. She said there was a creature that was approximately 3 foot high. It had red, glowing, piercing eyes, and it had wings. And she thought of a gargoyle, which was immediately what I thought of when she described this. But she said this creature was standing just outside the window in the woods, looking in at her and her mom. So she done what anyone would do, especially a young child. She screamed at the top of her lungs, which immediately terrified her mother, not knowing what she seen. So her mother looked out the window expecting to see a black bear or something, which is pretty common. But she too seen this red-eyed winged creature which stood about 3 feet high, staring back into their cabin. If you know anything about the Mothman, which originated in Point Pleasant, West Virginia in the 1960s, this sounds like a miniature version. The mother, now seeing this Mothman type creature, she screamed. This alarmed Dad the next room over, because in one swoop the mother grabbed her daughter. They hop out of this tub, run to the living room where Dad is, and they're screaming at the top of their lungs. Dad's trying to make sense of what happened. He doesn't know if someone's hurt or someone's trying to break into the home or there's an animal. They're just kind of pointing and screaming toward the bathroom. The mom or the daughter one made out something about a monster or something looking through the window. Her dad is the John Wayne type of dad. The no nonsense, hard-nosed, not scared to fight a grizzly bear type dude. He went in there, expecting to be nothing, to be honest, probably an animal. He was in there maybe no more than 20 seconds or so before Dad come running out of the bedroom, and he said, "Pack your bags immediately, we are leaving here." They went to the bedrooms. Her and her mom changed clothes, put on some actual clothes out of the bathing suits, threw the clothes in their suitcases. They left that cabin and drove 3 to 4 hours back to North Carolina, never to return again. This throws a lot of people off because Point Pleasant, as I said a minute ago, West Virginia, is the home and birthplace of Mothman. And I thought throughout my life that that's the only sighting was in Point Pleasant. But I would soon learn that there have been multiple Mothman encounters in the Smoky Mountains and beyond. I also have another story of a Mothman type creature just down the road from Wares Valley in the Cades Cove area, And this one happened to a park ranger. And I'll save that one for another date. But I am Brandon Gayhart, the Supernatural Sleuth. Thank you for watching. Please turn on all notifications so you'll know when I post. I post shorts on here daily and long form videos once to twice a week. You can find me over on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook as the Supernatural Sleuth. And if you have any stories or paranormal evidence you would like to share, you can email me at thesupernaturalsleuth@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Have a great day. God bless.